Let me introduce you to the people whose obsession became their addiction, built empires, fueled investments, and shaped our future. I'll walk you through the crazy, the impossible, and the spark that fueled someone's passion become the right side of obsession. What one person might call crazy, another will say obsession. Together, we will explore how the right side of obsession can fuel your motivation, transform the impossible, and build your resilience to make you unstoppable. Watch as I take you inside the obsession to witness the hyper-focus and laser beam energy required to grow your business and build your empires. Obsession has birthed inspiration and fueled dreams. I will show you how the obsession is necessary to turn your passion into profits. Welcome to the season of I Own It. Obsession, where one person's dreams become a reality. I'm your host, Ben Reinberg, and I'm obsessed with real estate. Commercial real estate, that is. It's what I think, eat and crave, and live for the find, the negotiation, and I fall in love with the deal. This season is all about getting into someone's obsession and learning how it fuels success. Let me ask you, do you think kindness can be an obsession? I'm going to introduce you to a living example of the American dream. My guest was born to alcoholic parents, diagnosed dyslexic, and failed 4th grade. He fathered a child at the age of 14 and graduated in the bottom 10% of his high school class. While some of his friends lost their lives to drug and alcohol, and others are in prison, his path intersected with the kindness and the mentorship who gave him motivating examples of how to not meet the fate of his friends and instead take control of his destiny. Glen Stearns took that life-changing encouragement and ran with it. Glen became the first person in his family to attend college, and he graduated with a degree in economics from Towson University. He formed his own mortgage company, Stearns Lending, and in 2002 he was honored with the Ernst & Young prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. You may recognize my guest from the reality show Undercover Billionaire on the Discovery Channel. He was equipped with nothing more than $100, an old pickup truck, and a cell phone, and was told to build a business valued at $1 million in 90 days. So what did he do? He created Underdog Barbecue, a restaurant still running in Erie, Pennsylvania today. After the show, he went back to his roots in mortgage banking and visualized the next evolution of wholesale mortgage lending by focusing on building a company around his passion for kindness, its people, and those who are passionate about helping others. From this vision, Kind Lending was born. Please welcome my guest, Glen Stearns. Thank you so much for welcoming us into your incredible home. Glen, you were quoted as saying that you attribute your resilience to putting people before profit and having transparent integrities as the key to your business. Why are kindness and integrity so instrumental in your life?
You know, having done fairly well in business in the past, when I sold and got out, I realized it wasn't ever the money I was chasing. It was the ability to get people together and problem solve and conquer a mountain and celebrate together. So when I had a second go around to do it, I thought, well, why don't we do it completely different? Let's just put the profits, they're going to take care of themselves. As long as we can get happy people, we can really visualize our dreams, and then we can focus on a different kind of currency, right? Not just money, but happiness, but goal setting, but just different things that really made people feel that they had value. And when you do that, you really can have this lightning in a bottle, where people, they stay longer, they get up earlier, they want to work the weekends and help out, and not because of the money, but because they really are proud of what they do. And so I thought that's the first step and the first ingredient to changing our industry, because it had gotten a little rough, and we wanted to kind of bring the kindness back into it.
So building a solid foundation of a community was really important within the
Exactly.
structure.
Right.
That's great. So the name of the show is Obsession. What is your obsession?
I've got a few different ones.
Yeah.
Again, I love building. I did the show Undercover Billionaire, and it was about building a business very quickly. And when I finished that, I realized how much I really did miss charging the hill, right? And so I love building, and I've always been a serial entrepreneur. And so building kind lending has been an obsession over the last few years. People have asked, well, how often do you go in? Knowing I don't have to anymore. I said, I'm in 5 days a week.
Wow.
Got the suit and tie on. By the way, most of my office is only in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They go home on the other days. I'm in Monday through Friday. And so that is one. And then at home, I've got a little obsession with sunken ships, with things that maybe have a story tied to them. I love the story.
What role did your obsession play in your early life and now in your life today?
Well, my obsession with building businesses was really from an early age. When I was 8 years old, I started working, and I would sell. I had a paper route, and I had a free paper route where I would, I had 150 papers. I get paid $1.50 a week.
Right.
And then I moved up to selling the papers, and so when I was young, that was always a game to me too. It was like, can I beat the other guy in sales? Can I, it was a fun game. Always turned it into a game. And when you talk about the obsession at home with, say, the shipwreck stuff, again, it's that was also about storytelling to me. As I was young, my mom was a really good storyteller, and I kind of enjoyed that aspect of life. So I felt like every shipwreck had a fascinating story.
Did you feel that your obsession helped you when you were younger to get to this point in your career?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that when you think about passion, right? Because that's a very big part. If you're not passionate about something, you don't tend to get up as early, you don't tend to stay as late, you don't have the same twinkle in your eye, and people, they feel your energy, good or bad, they feel it.
Right. What did Undercover Billionaire teach you about obsession and success?
The show Undercover Billionaire was interesting because it wasn't meant to be. They didn't come to me. I had been hounded by the producers if I wanted to do a show, and so I kept telling them no thank you, no thank you, and finally I would say, look, you want to do a show? How about you follow me around and let me build a business? You want to watch that? I'll do it with no money, no contacts. How's that? And I didn't think they'd really do it. It's kind of the proverbial dog catching the car. Like,
Right.
now what do I do?
Exactly. So what was your biggest takeaway from hosting? You have a podcast called The Grit Happens Podcast. What is your biggest takeaway when you do that show?
I love finding out other people's story. I love finding out what makes them tick. I'm fascinated with success. And what I mean by that, you don't have to be, Bill Gates. You can be the best shoe shine guy or the best server at a restaurant. Why have you decided to excel more than anybody else? What drives you to be the best? And I love that. I just love finding out why. One of my dearest friends is John Elway. Mm-hmm. Not only did he excel in sports, right? But he's excelled in everything he's done in his life. And why? And he's a kind human being. So I love that. I love seeing somebody that does not quit, that has integrity, that surrounds himself with great people. And when you see all that, it's a winning formula. And I just enjoy being around other people that feel that same way.
One of Glen's core beliefs and quotes is, "It does not matter where you grew up, how little money you have, or even how many mistakes you've made. Everyone has potential to turn their life around and make their dreams come true." That's the belief in life of Glen Stearns. Are you living your life to the fullest potential? Glen shared he believes that adversities are an ideal foundation for success. One of the things I learned about you was you beat cancer twice, which is incredible. What did that teach you, and how has that taught you about life?
Well, facing your own mortality is a pretty wonderful gift. And what I mean is, all the little things don't matter anymore, right? Like, does it really matter about a broken TV or car or this or that? It doesn't matter. And we tend to waste a lot of time on insignificant things. And so having that gift of appreciation for life, it just taught me to be able to march to my own beat. What do I like to do? And what I don't like to do, I'm not going to do it anymore, you know? Because time, it's such a precious commodity. So when you have something like cancer come into your life, you realize, you know, you only got a short time, and you do what you are going to be happy with. You know?
Oh, that's so well said. So from vice presidents to astronauts to John Elway and Sir Richard Branson, you travel in a powerful pack. Do you feel they're also obsessed?
I think anybody that excels to the top is obsessed in some way, you know? Every single one of the people that I know that have had a tremendous amount of success have never been focused on money. I haven't hung around those people. I think karma is a really interesting thing. When you focus on the wrong God, so to speak, right? Like money. Right. Sometimes you will hurt people along the way. And when it's time to get caught, and what I mean get caught is when it's never a straight line up, right? You have very many highs and very many lows. And a lot of those lows, when you do it right, there are people there maybe to point you into another direction, kind of catch you here. Let me give you some other guy to help you. Let me do this, let me do that. But when you're not such a good person, they're not there, and you're on your own. And so I've found being a good person that you're planting these seeds so that one day, you know, people are going to be there. Again, maybe it's just an ear. It's just somebody that you can talk to, and you need to figure it out. And that's saved me so many times, just having a shoulder to cry on, you know.
Wow. Whatever you're going through can fuel your obsession to climb out of today and build your ideal tomorrow. It starts with the belief that you can and you will. Glen, like most successful people, attributes hard work and mentorship as the influences that have helped him succeed and break free from hardship. Who is your pack of influence? Remember that success thrives on obsession. Find those around you who are obsessed with their unique ability, and together you can help one another achieve success.
There was so much going on that you stepped into. I mean, this would not have happened without you. And I'm really proud to show you that we went from $425,000 to $800,000 in 27 days. Almost doubled it. Right when the summer started, when I came, a busy day was $2,000. What did you do in sales at the grand reopening?
We did about 8,000.
Think about that. 400% increase. You tripled our average for half a year, and you did it in 1 month.
Learn from the best, man.
You should be proud.
I am. So you selling?
And I've thought a lot about it. And I'm still gonna sell the restaurant. But I'd like to see if you'd like to buy it. How about the number that I started with? Give me a check for $100, we call it even. What do you say?
You're joking, dude. You're joking.
You deserve it. This will be the first franchise restaurant. That's how I'm looking at this. You deserve it. You worked your ass off.
I can't breathe. Can I give you a hug?
Can you give me a hug?
Thank you. This is gonna change my life.
Ashley will be the owner of the original flagship Underdog restaurant, while I work with her to franchise it into what will hopefully be a national chain.
As we wrap up, what advice do you have for our viewers who are negatively judged for being obsessed? You know, being an entrepreneur myself, and you are as well, when you're really focused on something, you dedicate your life or your career or personally to something, you get negatively judged and people don't understand. So what advice would you give our viewers?
I would give the advice to people that are fully obsessed that they need to stop every now and then and be grateful and thankful and tell people thank you, because it's never just one person. People that end up excelling, they have a team around them. And if they don't recognize that team, then life is going to be a lot harder for them. If they stop and they say, hey, thank you for being along the ride and being my backup and being my wingman. And those kind of people are, like, to me, I've given so much of what I've done. I'm not the smartest person, I'm not the quickest witted person, but I have people around me that are really my strength. And so I try to make sure I pay them a lot of respect and credit. And then when you do that again, I think you're able to have a lot more success in the fact that other people are willing to help see you rise. When you're obsessed and you just will go at all costs and you think winning is the only thing that matters, I think you've lost sight of the end game. The end game is happiness. It should be. Right. It's not who has the most toys.
Right.
It's the feeling fulfilled and feeling like you've done something that where people will look at you with pride. If you get to the end and you've just burned all the bridges, you've lost, actually. You haven't won. I don't care how much money you have.
Well, we're so grateful to have us in your house and to spend some time with us. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, so the Titanic,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The first boat that came when the Titanic sank was the Carpathia.
Okay.
Right? So that boat picked up all the people in the lifeboats and a lot of the bodies that were around. So this is the actual record of all the bodies and the effects that they found and who they buried at sea, right? One of the gentlemen that they picked up, when they got him, he had his pocket watch. This shows exactly when time stops, right?
Wow.
When it hits the water.
That's
you
incredible.
can see the water damage to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was another gentleman who put his jacket on his wife, put her in the lifeboat, and he stayed behind. He passed away. She lived. In his pocket was the key to the trunk of his clothes that sunk a mile deep, right? In her pocket, which was his jacket, was the last menu from the Titanic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Now, there was another gentleman, if you recall, remember the
band
played on, right?
Yep.
Wallace Hartley was the conductor of the band. He was the leader. He was also a violinist, okay? This is the original picture of him the second over from when he was a young boy. Now, they found Wallace Hartley also in the water. He had passed away.
Okay.
And on his back was his violin case.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Incredible.
that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
Now, in World War One, they ended up shooting or torpedoing the Carpathia. Just it was floating around, and they shot it. Well, they found that boat about 20-something years ago, and this was from the bridge of the Carpathia itself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So pretty cool.
Amazing.
1857. You've got the gold rush, right? So you've got gold coming from San Francisco over to New York.
Yep.
They go down to Panama, cross over the land bridge at the time, and then go up. Well, they were bringing gold up around Georgia, and they hit a hurricane. And the boat, SS Central America, sunk with all the U.S. gold in it. So the people were looking for that boat for 100 and something years. They found that boat 25 years ago, and in it was all the gold bars. Now, these were some of the boxes.
Okay.
150 years underwater it survived.
Wow.
Wooden boxes. And in it were gold bars like these.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, is that crazy?
Yeah, that's incredible.
This was to the gold room. You had bags like this that were from the gold miners. And in these leather pouches was gold that came out of that, right?
That's fantastic.
You had, they found a couple trunks of clothes, and in there was a box of cigars. This made it 150 years.
Incredible.
And they also found a first edition of the Count of Monte Cristo book, 150 years underwater.
Wow.
How that lasted, I have no idea.
Incredible.
If you've been down to the Keys, Key West, Mel Fisher was a real big treasure hunter. He found the Atocha from a Spanish galleon in the 1500s. Now that boat had big silver bars. These bars weigh 84 pounds, right? This long pin was a pin at the front of one of the Spanish galleons from the 1500s.
Oh, wow.
So lots of cool little...
Great history.
Little, history.
Love it. Obsession can drive people to do things they wouldn't normally do. Obsession can prioritize your dreams over daily comforts and create the momentum you need to go from good to great. Now it's your turn to fuel your obsession and join others, great leaders, investors, inventors who are leading the pack. What are you waiting for?